Today on Design Santa Barbara, we are heading up north to Santa Ynez, California, visiting Shannon Scott. We recently had a chance to attend her studio's opening. Let's take a look at that. Today's project is a ranch-style home. Let's see how it looked like before the total renovation. Let's go meet up with Shannon and see what she has in store for us. It is a big change.
It's a huge change.
What a beautiful living room you did out of it.
Yeah, as you remember, we had a very different color palette in here. More of the greens and golds and very earthy tones, which, you know, while the home was quite nice, it wasn't really the style that fit my client and their needs.
I'm excited to see the rest of the furniture.
Yes.
Why don't we bring him in and see how it is?
That'd be great.
Love the coffee table.
Isn't that fantastic? We found that in a store that imports from all over the world.
Where is that from? Is that from Bali?
You know what? He wasn't sure. I think it was a Balinese bed, actually.
Well, you know, actually, these are opium beds.
Opium beds?
Yes. They used to lay on it in the afternoon and smoke opium.
Oh. Okay, well, the opium bed is now a big coffee table.
A coffee table, much better suit. So actually, I love that chair. Very nice. How come you picked out that color?
Again, she wanted to bring in a little bit of the blue tone, and being, you know, sort of country, there's a little bit of Americana theme that we've brought in, and just slight touches. You know, obviously we have pieces from all over the world. They travel around the world. But we wanted to bring in a little bit of interest, but still keep it subtle.
I love the Chester tufted. This is timeless. This is one of my best-selling sofas,
I
actually,
know.
and goes with everything you put. It could, you know, you can put it in a British classical library or a beautiful barn house in Santa Ynez.
Exactly. It's very classic. Again, we wanted to keep something neutral. We used a linen fabric.
I like the color you picked. It's very similar to the walls.
Yes.
And you have the sofa table.
Sofa table, again, another interesting piece. They're reclaimed wood tops with new painted legs. So kind of an interesting mix of the old and the new. And that's kind of what we did throughout the house.
Oh, that's not my lamp, but that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great piece.
That's a great piece. It's just a bunch of branches put together, isn't it?
Branches, very simple.
See, what I like is you're doing recycled woods and recycled materials, and end result is beautiful.
Well, as you know, sustainability is a really important part of what we do, and so we do try to find pieces that are reclaimed and antique and recycled as much as possible, and also using a lot of natural fibers. So with the materials on the sofas and chairs, they're, you know, linens and cottons.
This is an interesting item you picked, Shannon.
Yeah, these are industrial cranks of some sort.
Do they actually work?
They do. You can actually you can
crank
lower
them up
and
and
raise,
down.
and so that was something because you do have the high arms on here, and so it gave the opportunity.
You could use them as a nightstand or a side table. If you get tired of them, we put in a bedroom and it's a nightstand.
Exactly, we can move them around. And actually, that was the case with a lot of pieces in here. The client and I went out and did shopping in a number of places for a lot of the pieces, and knowing that they would fit somewhere.
That's
and
wonderful.
They might be a nightstand, and they might be an end table, and we made it work.
All right, let's get the pillows, and the final item will be the bench, I suppose. Can we get the bench, Mr. Angel? Thank you. How do we put this, Miss Shannon?
So these go on the ends.
All right.
And these go in the middle.
Got the lumbar pillow.
The little lumbar. So again, just a little touch of this sort of terracotta color that we also brought into the bar stools. We wanted to keep it simple, but just a little pop of color to add some interest.
It brings a lot of actual life to the room. which is very interesting.
And then we picked up the darker blue in the pillows that's in both.
We picked the darker pillow from the chair and the gray from the sofa, and hence that's beautiful. Actually, it's very usable.
So again, we brought in a darker color to contrast with the blue, which almost feels like blue jeans. That was the idea of it, with kind of an open weave.
Looks casual.
Casual. And then the bench, which is really fun design, we found an inspiration for it, added arms. With all the upholstery, they were custom made, as you know, as we do all the time. And we were able to scale them properly to this space and work with the area. We used a lot of nail head, which is something I love. And is a great little detail.
This is very interesting. A lot of people lately are using a lot of ottomans and benches to create extra seatings.
Exactly.
And you know, the thing is, doesn't have a back, so it creates an open space, but you can seat 2, 3 extra people.
We wanted to, when you came in the front door, to be able to look all the way through and out into the beautiful yard.
It's beautiful
and space,
yard, nice.
But allow for additional seating. This is a weekend and vacation home for the client, so they oftentimes have numerous families that all gather here together to use the space.
You can seat a lot of people.
You can seat a lot of people, yes.
All right.
So we needed a really large coffee table.
That thing is big. If they get tired, they kind of sleep on it.
Exactly. So another area that's a big change in the house is the bar. As you may recall, it was all wood. It was a wood top, it was a wood base, it tied in with the rest of the wood in the house and sort of disappeared. So we wanted to make something that was more of a statement, more interesting and more fitting with the new feel. So we went and shopped for stone slabs and found this really amazing limestone. And if you look closely at it, there's actually a little touch of the terracotta color that's in there. And it's a leathered finish, so it actually has a texture, almost a rustic, you know, like old stone feel. And then we created a thick edge to it to make it feel like it's a 2.5-inch thick top on there.
It looks like it's 10 tons.
It does. So it's not quite, it's only about 2 tons. And then we ended up adding in the corrugated tin on the side, just a fun little accent.
That's absolutely beautiful.
As you know, my office has it on both the inside and outside, and my client and I were standing there one day and she said, what if we added some tin in there?
And here it is.
From that it was born, and we came up with adding some great old tin that the contractor found, and bar stools, again, as I said, bring in the terracotta color, and just a fun, kind of funky old piece in the back.
Beautiful, wonderful
Yes.
thing. So where are we going to go from here on?
From here, I think let's go check out one of the bedrooms.
All right, let's go see the master.
Perfect.
Stay tuned. There is more Design Santa Barbara coming after the break. This looks very different, Shannon.
Yeah, a little bit of a change.
My goodness. It's beautiful. It's like Shangri-La.
Yes, very beautiful. As you know, it's a very large scale room, and we needed a large bed. So here it is.
You went for it. I can see. Very beautiful.
No, it's beautiful. You know, we had a lot of elements to work with. We had the dark wood that was already in here, so we complemented with the bed. We did end up adding in a nice sheer drape, which gave a softening to the space and also filled a little bit more volume.
I love the side nightstands you picked. They're actually fabulous. Look at that, how beautiful it works in this room. It just brings the old and the new together.
Yes, and again, bring a little bit of a contemporary twist to an old style. Still keeps in the neutral palette that we're working with, but a little bit of interest stands off of the walls, ties in nicely with the headboard.
All right, so we have a few items that we're still bringing in. That
Yes.
chair we made for you, that looks amazing actually, by the way. You have excellent tastes.
Oh, thank you.
And again, your famous nail head.
Famous nail head, and we used a lot of tufting in this house. It just was appropriate. Didn't want to have a lot of loose cushions, so we brought in just a nice little comfy chair for the space.
Looks very elegant and comfortable actually.
It is comfortable.
And I like that little side table you picked.
Yes.
It's completely not going to be anything else, but actually it's beautiful.
Yes, works perfect.
Looks like a honeycomb.
It does look like a honeycomb.
We're missing
and
some
it's
bees.
kind of a, again, it's a worn old gold finish. So, nothing looks brand spanking new. It's all got a little bit of age. And then the mercury lamps.
Mercury lamps. These are actually some of my best sellers, mercury lamps, and the glass lamps nowadays are very in. They're not modern, but they're contemporary.
Right. Well, what I really like to do is layer different finishes. So I like to have a mix of wood, metal, glass, texture, even the carpet that we use throughout the house.
A lot of people are afraid of doing that. they just want to go buy a room from a picture, and
Yes.
I advise them always not to. Just go with your own taste, pick what you like, and this is what you did out here. It looks beautiful. And then we had those beautiful pictures you took from their album. I love it.
Yeah, these are fun.
This is Hong Kong, and that is?
It's like Thailand.
It is.
Yep.
All right, so they go at each side of the bed. That's the final touch. Nice.
Final touch. Yep.
You just want to come and rest.
Come and rest, and that is the point of this home. This is their weekend and vacation retreat, so the idea was a very calm, serene surroundings, and that's what really led to the palette we've used.
All right, Shannon, why don't you please show me the rest of the house?
I would love to. Let's go for a walk.
Let's do it. Coming up next on Design Santa Barbara. Today on Design Santa Barbara, we are in Santa Ynez, California, and Shannon had designed several of the rooms, and now she's going to give us a tour of the rest of the house. Let's look.
So as you can see, we've got a big change up here. This is the kids' playroom. Again, they do have multiple families that use this home together at one time, so they wanted to maximize as many little kids as they could get up here. We custom built this bunk bed into the wall, and technically you could put 8 kids, little kids, into that space. It created a really fun little area for quite the sleepover party. I think this may be one of the biggest transformations in the home, as the former owner had a son who loved one of the football teams, and the room was very bright orange and blue. And we've gone to a much subtler palette in here. We've just brought in these great lamps that were a finishing touch. We needed something that fit just right, and found these at the Santa Barbara Design Center. I love the metal element that they bring in, and again, that bit of industrial touch that we have throughout the home. And that's kind of something that's happened throughout. It's just this mix of soft and hard and texture, and so we brought into this space just a very relaxing, soft oasis, and that was the intent for the client, is to have a place that you came on the weekend and just relaxed. We also redid the 2 matching bathrooms, similar to what they originally were. The original bathrooms did have a subway tile and a hexagonal tile on the floor. However, they were not as clean and contemporary as what we've now used in there. We've also custom built new vanities with beautiful marble tops. And yet one more amazing transformation in this home. If you recall, this room, the walls and even the baseboard were all painted a dark red, and the ceiling was a deep forest green, so it was a very dark room. Elegant, but very dark. And so, yet again, as we've done throughout the house, we've lightened up the whole space. We've brought elements of the inside or the outside in with the really fun chandelier with the branch design, but then it has a contemporary shade added to it. So fun little details. The table, as you see it right now, is in a full oval, so that it can seat 10 people. It also goes down to just a large round table for everyday seating. Brought in some beautiful draperies, the woven wood blinds, which, as you've seen, we've used throughout the house consistently as a nice texture. And then the beautiful carved antique sideboard that's in here, the carved mirror. And then again, a little touch of the outdoors. We've got the lamps with the real bark bases on them. So just a light, bright, airy, still elegant, but very soft, natural feeling palette in this room. Michael, this is the nook area. I'm really pleased with how it came out. There's a lightness again, and I keep using that word, but that's really the theme throughout the house. This was a yellow kitchen with dark cabinets everywhere. As you'll see, we painted out the woodwork in here white. and that really lightened up the space. It actually featured the floors and the woodwork around the windows and the beams a lot more than when we had the dark cabinets everywhere. So it helped really lighten up the space and soften it out. We had this really great table made in a, again, grayed out finish. We needed to do something special to actually fit the unusual shape of the nook area. Brought in the industrial chairs, brought in that little touch of the terracotta and the navy blue again into the back cushions. Just kept it really soft, really light and bright, as to me a kitchen should be.
Shannon is one of the most talented designers I've ever worked with. She's very easygoing, she's very likable, and she has a style of her own. She can take a room from scratch and turn it around to a beautiful place. I've seen her do castles. In fact, she did one in Newfoundland, Canada, and she has done barn homes, and she has done this one that is a beautiful, beautiful ranch style house. It's limitless what she can do. She does a lot of commercial as well as hotels and wineries. Very talented. I'm looking forward to see her again on our show. All right, Shannon. So today in this beautiful Santa Ynez Valley, we have a viewer. Ariana asks, how do you pick a theme for a home, and how long does a home renovation normally take?
Wow, very good questions. So in terms of a theme, there's a lot of different ways of going about it, and it really depends on the client. Some clients have a really clear idea of what they want, and you can go with it. They want contemporary Asian, or they want rustic something. Even then, you still need to delineate what that means to them, because you know, for instance, doing a mission style can be a variety of different things. So, you know, but a lot of clients don't know exactly what they want. They don't necessarily know a color palette that they want. So the first thing that I do is really try to get to know the client and spend some time showing them some various images based on our conversations to give a feel of, you know, what does rustic contemporary mean to you? Is it this or is it this? And usually from there we can start gleaning. I like this, I don't like this, I like these colors, I don't like these. And so that was the process with this home in particular. And part of the issue here is that it is a country home. And in the beginning we thought it was a little more country western. They realized that wasn't their style. Their other home is much more of a contemporary type of space, and so we needed to blend what was comfortable to them and what was also appropriate for the surroundings, being in the Santa Ynez Valley. So what we found is that rustic and country could mean a number of things from other countries. So that's where we've got pieces from India and Bali and America, and just a real mix of more that it was rustic finishes and things that felt real and worn. And so that's what we developed here, and that's kind of the approach that I take with each client, is getting a feel in the beginning of, you know, A, B, C, and then we hone it in until we get to a final design. So.
And the second question was how long usually
how long
it takes?
Usually. Most of our projects, if we're doing a renovation, are about a minimum of 1 year.
Oh, wow.
They can go up to 2 or 3 years. In the case of this home, we had about 6-7 months to do it. They wanted to get in and start using the home in time for the holidays, which is quite common. So we had about a good 6 months to come in, make some pretty quick decisions about furnishings and the finishes in particular, so we could get the contractor going. And so in that case, we worked with him very closely to develop a schedule and make sure we could get materials that were available. So in this case, it was about 6 months. There's still a few months of tweaking to get the final little details like we were doing today. But 6 months is about probably the most minimum.
Minimum time.
Yeah.
Well, Ariana, I hope that answers your question.
So.
Again, I thank you very much for being on our show and doing this wonderful job you do.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to do another one with you.
Appreciate your help as always.
For today's appraisals, we have picked 3 different boudoirs from 3 different periods and 3 different price ranges. So boudoirs are one of the newer introductions into home designs, and they have been a popular item. They have ranged from $100 to 600-700 years of age. It's a little bit hard to detect which one is older and why, but I have 3 different ones. I can show you where they come from and price ranges. This particular one is a South Chinese Buddha, and the patina on it is roughly about 100 years old. As such, it's worth like about $1,000 to $1,500. This one is an 18th century Burmese Buddha and has gilding on it. As you can see, it used to be a lot more gold. Over the years, the gold wears off. So this one I would appraise for like around maybe $8,000. This one, the other hand, is an important piece, and we have a pair of them, and they come from, as you can imagine, from the size from a big temple. They're polychrome, and they are roughly 400 years old. And this, in today's market, would be appraised between $25,000 to $35,000. I hope you enjoyed this appraisal. Looking forward to see you next week on Design Santa Barbara.